I have actual proof that my faith
Mm.
works. I mean, I can touch things, like, hey, this really changed. This really, really changed.
So outside of the things you can touch and materialistic things and all that, how about relationships? Talk more to me about that. How's that affected, your Buddhist tenets?
Well, it's not more or less the other person. It's the way I look at things now. For example,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to talk about my wife. I
Mm.
I don't respond to my wife the way that I used to respond to her. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to check myself first.
Ever felt those awkward vibes when religion and money come up? You're not alone. Welcome to Yahweh's Money, the podcast where we tackle the crossroads of faith and finance. I'm Shay Cook, an accredited financial counselor and the CEO and founder of Crusaders for Change LLC. Join us on our journey as we discuss topics like tithing, saving, and conquering debt through religious perspectives. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Yahweh's Money. As I always say, I'm super excited about our guest today. Our season 4 has been full with amazing guests, and we have another one and a treat for you today. But before we get to that, what does 41 years of service truly look like when you let God or a higher power direct your steps? How do you navigate the inevitable storms of a long career while keeping your faith intact? Today, we're sitting down with a very special guest, a man who has navigated a distinguished 41-year career in both the military and civil service, and a dear friend. We'll discuss what it means to build a career, serve your country, and prepare for retirement, all while anchored in faith. So scripture for today, our main scripture is Proverbs 16:9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord established their steps. This verse is perfect anchor for our conversation today. It reminds us that while we make our career plans or set our goals, it is God, universe, a higher power who ultimately guides us, protects us, and establishes our path through every season. So I'm incredibly blessed to be welcomed by our guest today, James Green. He's recently retired Coast Guard civilian or civil servant who dedicated an incredible 41 years of his life to service. And it's an absolute honor to have you here, my friend. How are you doing, James?
I'm great. I'm great. It's good to see you once again.
Yes, man, we've been knowing each other for a long time since the Coast Guard days, man.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oh my God, I'm going to really date myself here. I joined the Coast Guard back in 1981, did about 18 years active duty with maybe 2-3 years of reserve time with a total service of about 26 years between active duty and reserve with the Coast Guard. Then I transitioned into the civilian side of the Coast Guard, which led me to about 41 years of service. And when I look back on that, it's unremarkable. If I had to do it all over again, Shay, in this climate, I would not be able to do it with faith or without faith.
I hear you. I hear you. But you're also beyond the civil service. You are a husband and a father to Jamie Green, who's doing amazing things out there, trying to make a difference in this crazy world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you also have a business. You do real estate too, right?
Real estate is my bread and butter. I have been buying and selling real estate for probably 25 years or more.
Wow.
Absolutely. I was buying and selling real estate while I was on active duty as a civilian with the Coast Guard. It was always my go-to, not that government paycheck.
I love that because you're establishing wealth, building wealth for your family, for yourself, also having that legacy. But beyond that, I mean, just we don't see a lot of Black people doing it as we should, right? Taking advantage of one of the major asset building, wealth building opportunities in America still.
If it wasn't for real estate, I would not have the wealth that I have today.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's awesome. And I'm super proud of you for doing that and even teaching me and giving me little snippets throughout the years of great things you're doing with that. And you're still doing it.
I have to throw this out there for my wife. She's a great business partner with just a great financial mind. And needless to say, without her, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. So I got to meet your wife one day. So where are you at right now? Are you in Louisiana?
I'm in New Orleans right now, believe it or
You in New
not.
Orleans?
I
Okay.
have this
Okay.
project going on in New Orleans, and it's kicking my butt right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. And, whatever you need, I'm here to support you. And I'm super excited for you to be on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Take your seat, let the wisdom inherit. Let's hit the rapid fire questions. Say what's on your spirit. Take your seat, let the wisdom inherit. Let's hit the rapid fire questions. Say what's on your spirit.
All right. Take us back when you were first starting out in your 41-year journey and what you think about your career and what it was looking like. So, can you remember a specific moment during your service where you clearly felt a higher power's guidance or just discernment in a tough decision?
Well, way back when as a teenager, I was doing a lot of crazy things, a lot of crazy things. I was at a very great duty station. I was at the Marine Safety Office in San Francisco, and I was pretty much working 9 to 5. And I was doing some things that I shouldn't have been doing. Great job, great people, but the 18-year-old James that I was back then, career was going downhill. We did not have urinalysis at the time, and I'm gonna leave that right there. So it was just
I
free fall,
understand.
pretty much. I ended up getting myself in some trouble, not nothing criminal, but just mischievous things. And there was a commander by the name of Commander Rowe. That man saw something in me and said, you know what? We're not going to put this young man on a 378. I will allow him to come and work for me. And that man changed my Coast Guard career.
Wow. That's amazing when you have somebody like that in the corner that sees that in you. And hey, you're 18. We all make mistakes between 18 and some of us still make mistakes. Yeah.
Because some of them other folks I was working for, Shay, they were ready. Okay, you're going to a boat. You're going to a boat and you're done, brother.
Wow. Wow. Well, shout out to Commander Rowe.
And that was almost 40 years ago. And I remember that man like we just had dinner yesterday.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he had a true
That
impact
was
on
true.
you.
That was a true intervention. That was, I guess, that was one of those eureka moments. It was truly spiritual.
Hmm. Wow.
I did not know who this man was.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
That was a turning point for me.
All right. So, what's one piece of advice you would give that young man, who you knew years ago about your career or faith or family or?
Faith, family, God. Back then, if I had to go back to put the drugs down,
Mm.
it just wasn't working back then. And seek some sort of spiritual guide.
Hmm.
It was all about me back then. You know what I'm saying, Shay?
Yeah.
I did not seek no sort of spirituality. I grew up in a very Catholic family here in New Orleans,
Oh, okay. Hmm.
and I saw nothing good in that because, my mother, my grandmother, they prayed every day to statues, and we still lived in poverty every single,
Mm.
and it's like, if that's what your God is, I don't want anything to do with that. Not at all. Not at all.
I respect that. And I hear that from a lot of Catholics and a lot of Christians and a lot of different other religious people, right? When your family is in such turmoil and you don't see the difference, and that can really be a turning point for you. It sounds like it was for you too. You're like, nah, that's not for me.
The entire family was living in poverty. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And it
wow.
wasn't just because of lack of education, it was more of a mindset.
Mm.
It was a poverty mindset, Jay, and I was determined to change that.
And you did. So congratulations.
Absolutely. Because, I kind of shifted away from religion and got into the power of the subconscious mind. And I did so much of reading on that. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing. It changed the power of the subconscious mind, changed my whole outlook on life.
Wow. And how has that affected your daughter?
She went to a Catholic school for 12 years, so that's a pretty
Oh,
tough
okay.
bridge to cross right now.
Yep, and a lot of my family, well, my mother went to a Catholic school, and so, but I know a lot of people that have, and definitely a different upbringing and different, just the way they look at life. The perspectives on life is just totally, I don't want to say whitewash, but there's some things there you'd be like, what is this about? And then, and then if you're, hey, let's go there. If you're Black in America and you go into this this white institution, there is some things that go on there systematically too that
Absolutely.
I think is definitely the way they want it to be, right? So,
Because
yeah.
A, it was Catholic, and B, it was all white.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying? So she was indoctrinated into that culture. And now the only thing I can do is just let her see the change in my behavior through my pride.
No, that makes sense. All right. Well, let's wrap up that rapid fire and go into main discussion. So, after a 41-year journey of service, the unique path of serving in both the Coast Guard and as a civilian for over 4 decades, let's talk about faith under pressure, or just like you said, the power of the subconscious mind. I love that because I believe in that too. Study psychology and all of that, power now, power this, power that. There's so many things working together. How is the relationship with that provide for your discernment and peace needed to navigate career challenges?
It could be challenging. One of our tenets of Buddhist practice is turning poison into medicine. So if I'm met with an obstacle, Shay, I have to look at it as if this is a test of my faith. My faith is really being tested at this point. And we just have to weather the storm and continue praying and continue chanting, and things will change because I'm telling you, Shay, I have seen mountains move since I've been practicing Buddhism. Mountains. Do you hear me? So
Wow.
it's all about taking poison and turning it into medicine.
So it's about also what the obstacle is. And I mean, I study religion, Buddhism, Islam, and Catholic, Christianity, Islam, all that in college. And I seen there is definitely, you said got the tenets there. There's definitely those coordinating values or tenets or
After they cross over.
yeah, they definitely cross over. And just seeing, like you're saying, from when you say that to me, I was like looking at the bad and finding the good in it or moving forward towards the good, right? So having that kind of mentality, because people get stuck in that negativity and that poison, right? Like you're saying, instead of focusing on the good.
Without those obstacles, right? Where's your faith tested? You grow through your faith being tested. If everything was fine every day, my faith wouldn't be growing at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I have actual proof that my faith
Mm.
works. I mean, I can touch things, like, hey, this really changed. This really, really changed.
So outside of the things you can touch and materialistic things and all that, how about relationships? Talk more to me about that. How's that affected, your Buddhist tenets?
Well, it's not more or less the other person. It's the way I look at things now. For example,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to talk about my wife. I
Mhm.
I don't respond to my wife the way that I used to respond to her. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to check myself first.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm reading a good book right now by Mel Robbins called Let Them, and it goes into that you can let me, right? So you got to find those boundaries. And when you're
Absolutely.
dealing with relationships, there's a lot of inner work we got to do no matter who you serve in or religion you in. We got to do that inner work. We used to talk about that a lot on the phones when I was working at Coast Guard, like, man, I'm about to go crazy on these people. And we're like, nope, we got to look in what's going on. And Lisa Teens, shout out to our buddy Lisa Teens. She'd be like, all right, Shay, what is this mirroring? Whatever you're doing in the Coast Guard, it's got something to do with what's going on with you internally. So that's what it sounds like there with you. Yeah.
Because whatever's going on with me externally, in some form or fashion, Shay, this is what I'm attracting. Why am I
Mhm.
attracting this? You know what I'm saying? All of these workers that I have working for me, why is everybody having issues with me? I'm putting off some sort of energy to attract these type of people to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to take a real, real look at, especially dealing with family members.
That's a whole nother episode when you talking about family members, man. It'd be like, what is going on? Sometimes I told my husband the other day, I was like, I need a break from these people, they get on my nerves. But then it's like, all right, Shay, again, what like we were talking about, like, what is going on with you that you make now you don't even want to be around these people? Like, so there's something about me internally that I gotta look inward.
Mhm.
Well, that's good. That's good. So let's talk about this wisdom of weathering storm, especially right now. This is November 4th, 2025. This episode's not dropping to the end of the month, actually, on Thanksgiving around that time. But we're in a government shutdown again with this dang on administration, which we ain't going to talk too much about that because I'll get really ugly and people don't want to
Right.
see that
You don't,
side
you
of
don't
me.
want you don't want those, Jay. Because you would have to completely edit your whole podcast out.
So, what timeless advice can you offer those currently facing career uncertainty or how to anchor their faith or let's go talk about the finances of it all because people ain't getting paid and they still working.
And here's the thing, faith and finance, man, that's a pretty tough combination because I cannot imagine working right now for a month without being paid. I just can't. I can't wrap my head around that, Shay. But one area that I'm very disciplined in is saving. I'm very
Mm.
disciplined in saving my money because as a young black officer in the Coast Guard, I've seen a lot, especially when it came down to racism. Second to watching black officers being passed over and getting kicked out of the Coast Guard just with nothing. And I always said to myself, you will never catch me like that. Never. I say religiously, very, very religiously, very religiously. And that's the only thing I can say, to folk that are just coming into the government. You have to prepare yourself for these days.
Yeah. Because you were working for the Coast Guard when the last shutdown went, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm sure you saw it firsthand.
Shut it down for 6 months. But, one of the things I stress to my daughter, you have to save. You have to save. And second to saving, you have to look at ways of generating additional streams of income. Bottom line, shit. And I'm not saying this to be pompous or anything. Probably for half of my Coast Guard career, I never depended on a Coast Guard salary to pay my bills.
That's awesome.
My living expenses always came from my other real estate adventures. You know what I'm saying? With whatever was going on with real estate, that covered my living expenses, not that
Okay.
not that government.
Wow. Yeah, because people get so stuck on that one, and that's normal, right? That's the majority of people in this country. Usually that one major income, and if something happens, they out there and don't have no savings, like you're saying.
I've seen it. I've seen, young black officers, even young African American enlisted kids get kicked out of the Coast Guard with nothing, zero. And I was that young kid at one time. I was that young kid, man. I could have got put out of the Coast Guard, right, with nothing to go back to. Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero. And I was determined to build other streams of income.
So you really took life lessons and said, all right, and took them to heed and was like, nah, I'm not going to be like these Catholics over here, these black women and all that doing that. I ain't going to be like these officers and these black people in this Coast Guard. You were really learning from all of that. You didn't take none of that for granted.
True story. True story. In undergraduate school, everybody's getting these student loans. African American institution, HBCU, Southern University, and everybody's, have all this money left over from student loans, right? All my buddies, they're going out buying cars, blah, 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 Camaros and Trans Ams, and all. I'm really dating myself, all that stuff. Shay, that money that I had left over from my student loan, I bought my first property with it, $10,000.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My first property I bought, I paid $60,000 for that property, put $10,000 down from my student loan. Today, that property is worth $700,000.
Wow. Wow. That just gave me chills. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. You were in it for the long game, but you were smart early on.
And what's crazy? I didn't know. I really didn't know what I was doing, but it just made sense. You know what I'm saying? It made sense.
So who introduced you to real estate? Who was like that mentor or that influence or?
My grandmother owned real estate, but she wasn't good with money.
Okay.
So I kind of saw what real estate could do for you. My mother had 7 brothers, and they were mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, but they just couldn't get themselves together. So I grew up around that stuff, whereas my brother, we both grew up around that. My brother picked up the hands-on stuff from my uncle. I got the business side from them, which they could never develop.
Wow.
They just could never develop.
Well, I'm sure they're proud of you now because you doing your thing. I mean, seriously. And I mean, in the time of uncertain times, you're right, that savings, people that have those investments in real estate and stuff, that's good for them, even though I don't know if it's a good time to start selling anything if you need to, or pulling out some HELOCs and stuff because of the rates are outrageous.
Another thing, just shifting gears for a second, what we don't talk about much, Shay, is long-term care. I bought long-term care insurance when I was 34.
What?
It cost me like $90 a month, Shay.
That was
$90
smart.
a month. My father is sick right now, and I think you and I had this conversation. He needs some sort of in-home care. Guess what, Shay? There's nothing to cover the gap. He does not have enough insurance to cover that.
Oh, God.
In that generation, they were not financial savvy. You know what I'm saying? So we have to prepare for that aspect of life as well, because I don't want to be some sort of financial burden to my daughter, and she would have to take care of me.
Yeah.
I would really be in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would really be in trouble.
No, and that's great. And even though I always say it systematically was put that way for Black people not to be savvy, but that's another conversation too. But we have broken that cycle, and now with the internet, we got access to everything that we can learn. You got access to Crusades for Change. Hello, we're here to support you through that. and people like James out there that's been doing real estate for over 20, 30 years, like that can share that knowledge with you. There's literally no excuse anymore to be ignorant about this. The
There's no
information's out there.
excuse.
My husband and I always talk about, he's like, these kids out here, they trying to learn from TikTok and all of that. And no shame on that, but a little bit of shame on that. But, they have access to this information in us, in books, and real information out there for them that they could really learn all of this. 34 buying, long-term insurance, like, man, I know I looked at it in my early 40s and it was like $200-$300 a month.
And here's the thing, Shay, that will cripple your portfolio if something happens to you and you were not it will severely hurt you. It would really, really hurt you, man.
Yeah, I was just at the Goldman Sachs summit last week, and it was good. Around a lot of billionaires and millionaires, but they were talking about people that have built up wealth and even passed down wealth to family members. They're losing all of that because of in-home care and because of long-term, not having insurance and all of that. So you're right, it's crippling people and breaking people. So wow, that's crazy.
And another thing, I think contributes to my success. If you take a look at my circle, you can tell who I am. And my circle consists of people that are extremely wealthy, extremely wealthy, far more wealthy than what I am. You know what I'm saying, Shay? And someday I do hope to get there. But my circle, I'm surrounding myself with people that are doing it, and it's no jealousy there. It's like we're there to uplift each other. And unfortunately, it's not of African Americans.
You said there is a lot of African Americans?
No, I'm just saying a part of that circle, they're not African Americans.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we got to do a better job with that.
We have to do better than that.
Wow. All right. Well, lastly, let's talk about this service to significance. What's the new season of life looks like and how you plan to continue serving in a new capacity. Now you're retired. You're doing your real estate thing.
I'm building out real estate in the Dominican Republic as we speak. That's the next.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, because they're going to be probably sending us all to the islands of Africa anyway. So you might even though this is our country, we built it. But I hear you. Oh, wow, that's pretty. So it's a good part of it because I've been to DR.
I take my real estate game to the Dominican Republic.
Wow. And why did you choose that Caribbean island?
I love the culture. The real estate is still pretty cheap in this ocean front. And C is just something different. Shay, it's something different. And I'm always looking for an adventure.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. The DR. Once you get some property up, are you going to be like, you're going to try to sell it or are you going to rent it out? You're going to do some vacation stuff or?
I think this may be something I may hold to pass on down to my daughter.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at doing. Whatever I build there, it's just going to be passed down to her.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, guys, when we're talking about retirement readiness in America, the federal and private sectors differ significantly. 96% of federal employees participate in the Thrift Savings Plan, TSP, and 86% receiving the full employee match. In contrast, on the private sector, only about 50% of workers participate in 401k, and only half of those contribute enough to receive their full employer match. So talking about all the great things and lessons from long-term care insurance to real estate to, civil service, you got to make sure you're prepared for the retirement and beyond, taking care of your family, wealth building, legacy. So our guest journey is a powerful testament that a career built on faith is not free from storms, but is anchored in a peace that surpasses all understanding. Whether you're just starting out, facing uncertainty, or entering a new season, the promise remains the same. If you commit your plans to the Lord or your higher power, universe, He will establish your steps. So James, any final thoughts?
Just keep doing what you do, and just have the faith, man. You have to have the faith. You have to have faith.
Exactly.
Without faith, your work is dead.
Amen.
The work is dead. Just one of those things, man.
Yeah.
Just one of those things. That's why, I put my Buddhist practice before everything. It comes first.
Yeah.
Everything else is secondary.
That's good. It's guiding you and keeping you centered. And keeping you away from we have a little bit of that ego, but keeping that spirit alive is important. Yeah.
Keeping the ego in check.
Yeah, exactly.
It's there, but it's in check.
Oh, that's good.
I'm more conscious of it.
Yeah. Me too. I agree with you. I'm trying more and more because sometimes it gets in the way and be like, come on, ego.
Right.
All right, y'all. For this week, take a moment to reflect on your career path. Ask yourself, where is God asking me to trust him more through the storms? And please join us in praying for all the military, civil servants that are in the world and that feel or would feel God's higher power, universe, peace, provision, and no matter the season, especially right now, government shutdown. Hopefully next time we join you, the government be open again and we'll get this ish right, because it don't make no sense what's going on in America. But thank you, James, for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
A big thank you for listening to this episode. We hope you found today's chat about the intersection of religion and money insightful. We would love to hear your feedback. Hit that subscribe button or follow the podcast. And please feel free to leave us a review. For the latest Yahweh's Money content, visit us at crusaders4change.org or find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Until next time, stay financially fit and spiritually inspired. And remember, it's always better Yahweh's way.